In this video, we shall learn how to calculate the Kendall's correlation coefficient for the data in the following table. Now, the formula is very simple. The formula is just C minus D, that's the tau, is equal to C minus D over C plus D. The C here represents concordance. C is the concordance, and the D is the discordance. Concordance simply means agreement. Then discordance means there is a disagreement. Now, for example, let's indicate this as A, B, C, D, E, F, J, and H. It means that this column is your column A, column B, column C, and so on. Now let us take a combination of A and B. If I take a combination of A and B, it means I'm going to deal with the column A and column B. Now let's look for the change in testron. Let's look at this. You will realize that 1.16 is greater than 0.81. When you also look at the display, you realize that 5.40 is also greater than 3.40. Therefore, we see that there is a concordance between A and B. So A and B, there is a concordance. If I take, for example, A and C, we realize that A is 1.16 and C is 1.06. So we can still apply the greater than sign between A and C for the change in testron. But when we take the display is also 5.40. Then for C it is 3.0, which is still greater than 5.40 is greater than 3.0. Therefore, there is still a concordance between them. Now let's take another example. For example, let's say B and let's pick, for example, B and J. When we pick B and J, we realize that 0.81 and 0.90, we can apply the less than sign because 0.81 is less than 0.90. But when we check it from here, we realize that 3.80 is greater than 3.40. So under display, we use the greater than sign for 3.80 and 3.40. But under the change, we realize that 0.81 is less than this. So there is a discordance between B and J, that's BJ. In the column B and in the column J, there is a discordance. So here will be D. Now let's check for one more. Let's pick, for example, E and H. Let's pick, for example, E and H. When I pick for E and H, we realize that in the column E, we have 0.96 and we have 1.23. That is 0.96 is less than 1.23, less than. But when we check it from the display, we realize that 3.60 is greater, 3.60 is still less than 5.20. So they are both less than. Therefore, in this column EH, there is a concordance. Let's try for another one. Let's pick, for example, D and F. Let's pick for D and F. When we pick for D and F, we realize that D 1.01 is less than F, which is 1.07. But when we pick for the second row, still under the column D, we have 4.80, but we have 3.60. Therefore, 4.80 is greater than 3.60. So here and here, we can say that 4.80 is greater than 3.60. But when we check from the change here, we realize that 1.01 is less than 1.07. So under the column D and F, there is a discordance. There is a discordance. So you could see that we can check for all the various columns. When we pair the columns, we can check whether there is a concordance or there is a discordance. So we have to do for all the columns. Now, to know the number of columns or the number of pairings, let's count the number of observations. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 observations. And since we are dealing with 2 columns, change in testron and display, it means the number of combinations is going to be 8 combination 2. And 8 combination 2 will give us 28. 8 combination 2 will give us 28. It means there is going to be 28 combinations. So we are supposed to pair them, all the different pairings. So you can see that we have all these different pairings. After checking the concordance and the discordance, we have to count the number of concordance. So we count all the C's and we realize that we have the concordance. C is going to be equal to 18. Then the discordance would be 10. So when you count them, we are getting 18 concordances. Then the discordances are 10. So we only substitute that in the formula and solve. We have C to be equal to 18 and we have D to be equal to 10. So we know that our correlation is going to be equal to C minus D all over C plus D. So our tau is going to be C minus D over C plus D. Then we just substitute 18 minus 10 over 18 plus 10. That gives us 8 over 28, which is equal to 0.29. So that is the answer. So That's our Kendall's correlation coefficient, 0.29, which is a positive weak correlation.